Hello, Deborah with Preservation Publications and Preservation 2012 on YouTube. I'd like to talk to you about the Bumpy Plateau today and give you an idea of what I think we should be expecting in the next couple of months. First, I want to explain how the Bumpy Plateau works. I'm going to refer to my notes, so just bear with me. First of all, we reach the peak of production of oil. Okay, this is how much oil we are producing. The prices rise to the point that it meets the demand. There's a recession, the demand and the price falls, there's a leveling out, and then peak oil, which is dropped a notch, is reached again, which is where we're hitting now. Gas prices up at $4 something a gallon. Then we hit another recession, which brings the demand down, peak comes down, prices go up, we hit peak again, there's a recession, price goes down, peak goes down, there's recovery, we hit the peak, and the cycle goes on and on and on. It goes down and down and down and down. Now this will be just a naturally occurring event, but it's going to be regular, and you're going to be seeing it for the rest of your lives. There are a few things that are going to make it worse. For example, as we know, revolution in the Middle East is not good for oil production. We're going to be hitting peaks much faster, much quicker, and our recessions are going to be deeper and greater because of this kind of event. Also, because of the tragedy that happened in Japan yesterday, those types of events are also going to bring the level of peak down. Global consumption and the added demand from China and India, who want their share of the pie, will also bring the peak down. What's available down. We're going to be spiraling into just massive recession after recession after recession. So when a recession is technically over, it doesn't mean that we'll be back up to capacity for employment. It doesn't mean we'll be back up to capacity for income levels. It doesn't mean that at all. It means that we have managed to reduce the demand on our oil, and the economy can move along again until it reaches peak again. Unemployment will always be high. From here on out, it will be high until the day we die. Unless there is some magical, mystical way of producing energy in mass to account for the gasoline and fuels that we use right now, we'll never recover from this. We've got to accommodate it, learn how to live with it, and learn how to use our resources wisely. I don't think that the federal government is going to do that for us. That's something that we're going to have to do for ourselves. Because the more these recessions cycle down, the more dependent we are going to become upon ourselves to adjust to them and deal with them. Essentially, the elimination of our denial system is the elimination of belief, which is what we are all going through. We are slowly eliminating belief. A lot of people stopped believing in the government when the government couldn't handle the unemployment and couldn't handle the inflation and the economy. A lot of people lost belief in the government. And we're seeing the loss of belief in government all around the world. And it's not just in the Middle East. It's all over Europe. It's in China. It's all over Asia. It's in Russia. It's in South America. That elimination of belief in government is happening all around the world. So when there's an elimination of belief, with it comes a lot of pain and a lot of sadness, because it means that we're diving down through belief into reality, into grieving. And that's going to be very difficult for a lot of us. Nobody wants to feel that. I don't want to feel that. I don't know anybody that wants to feel that. People want to be able to live and survive without living in constant mourning. And the only way that any of us can do that is to become proactive and start taking on responsibility for ourselves and finding ways to deal with the hardships that are coming our way. That means putting in a garden. That means talking to your neighbors and building bonds and relationships with your friends and your neighbors and your families and your communities so that you can interdepend on each other, so you can rely upon each other, so that the weight of this is not so great for any individual. It can be carried by all of us if we all carry it, if we all agree to carry it together. Just try to understand what's happening. Try to understand what's happening in your life as you move through the process yourself, and not let it overwhelm you. There is the other side of this mess to look forward to. It's just going to be hard to get there. Do what you can to be self-reliant. Do what you can to be self-sufficient. And the best thing you can do to do that is start focusing on your garden. Grow your own food. Preserve your own food. Preserve your seed. Store your food. Start to build community through food exchange. Talk to your next door neighbor and ask him if he'd be willing to give you half of his carrots if you give him half of your potatoes when the season's over. Extend that all around your neighborhood and establish a food exchange. So there isn't going to be, an abundance of one type of food and a lack of another. And through community, this can all be developed and mutually beneficial. Just think about it. Until next time, for our families, our neighbors, our friends, and our communities, preservation.